Sawbona. Now, having admitted that you never used the CMS as a method of ballistic analysis in any of the tests that you were required to do, you only were using the pattern matching as a form which was taking precedent within the forensic science laboratory. Just a quick one on this. Exhibit MM1, page 3 of exhibit MM1. Now, what kind of a method is that one? Just a simple answer. What kind of a method is that one? Is it pattern matching or CMS matching?
Nkandla ukusekhasini lesithathu inhloboni yokuhlaziya i-CMS noma i-pattern matching.
The process is the same.
As it is recorded, my lord. This I'm going to request that this page be demonstrated on the screen so that the accused are able to follow as well. Yes. So, what kind of a method is this that is demonstrated in page 3 of exhibit MM1, which was prepared by you?
The process is the same, but the interpretation is done in terms of pattern matching.
Inqobe enzayo uma sibheka iyafana. Kodwa kumehluko ufika la uma seke sisichaza ukuthi yini ebonwayo lapha. Khona ke la kungena khona ke ukuthi kusetshenziswa i-pattern matching.
But I'm asking you, is that a pattern, what is demonstrated on the screen there, which is contained on page 3 of exhibit MM1, is that pattern matching or is it a pattern matching method or a CMS method?
Funa ukwazi ukuthi lokho kulapha esithombeni i-pattern matching method noma i-CMS.
These marks must be considered in the spirit of pattern matching. But as I've already demonstrated, the process of looking for the marks is the same. It's only where the counting is involved.
Lokho kulapha le migqa ke ingalandela i-pattern matching kodwa ke njengoba sengichazile ke izimpawu lezo sibona lapha esithombeni ziyafana kodwa ke kuphuma ekutheni ke uma usuzochaza ukuthi yini ebonakalayo lapha khona ke la kungena khona indlela ke yokuchaza.
No, but you seem to be evading my question. My question is simple. What method is here? I'm not saying to you explain what is contained in here. I'm saying to you, as it is demonstrated on page 3 of exhibit 1, which is also exhibited on the screen there, is that a pattern matching method or a CMS method? I'm not saying explain anything. I know the differences, but what we are saying there, what is it? Is it CMS or pattern matching?
It can be interpreted either way.
Okay,
but what I'm saying is that what I want to clarify is that the process of looking for marks on the exhibit is one process, is the same. The only difference comes when you consider the marks that you are going to use for an identification. The process is exactly the same.
I-pattern matching noma i-CMS kodwa ke indaba ingena ke manje kuma sekuzochaza ukuthi yini ebonakalayo lapha ila kungena ke khona ke izindlela ezahlukile zokuchaza.
So this image can apply for both CMS and for pattern matching.
Manje lesi sithombe lesingasebenza ku-CMS na ku-pattern matching.
But for the interpretation of these marks, I'm following pattern matching interpretation.
Kodwa ke ekuchazeni lokho okubonakala lapha ngisebenzise i-pattern matching.
Now that is in terms of exhibit, in terms of it's TB 8, not so?
That is correct.
So you're basically saying what we're seeing there, all those marks up to 6 on both sides, on the exhibit and the test bullets, all those 6 marks there indicate to you that this is a pattern matching.
Manje lokho kubonakala lapha konke lokho kubonayo kuchaza ukuthi sibona ithi pattern matching.
No, there's no specific image for pattern matching or for CMS. This image can also be used by people who apply CMS. It can also be used by pattern matchers.
Ukuthi kuno pattern matching noma CMS esithombeni lesi sithombe singasetshenziswa nanombani lo osebenzisa indlela ye-pattern mapping nalo osebenzisa indlela yokuhlaziya ye-CMS nakhona iyakwazi ukusebenza.
But the interpretation of these marks which are visible on this specimen is based on pattern match. That is the interpretation.
Kodwa ke incazelo ke elethwayo kulesi sithombe kusetshenziswe i-pattern matching.
So what you're telling this court is that those marks which are numbered from 1 up to 6, your interpretation thereof is that they represent pattern matching.
Okuchazayo ukuthi izimpawu lezo eyokuqala eziyofika kwesithupha ezilapha esithombeni kusho ukuthi zibonisa i-pattern matching.
They can be interpreted in pattern matching and on CMS as well.
Zingachazwa ke kusetshenziswa nanoma i-pattern matching nanoma i-CMS.
Thank you, sir. I don't want to argue with you on this point. You said you never used the CMS method in any of the analysis that we have done thus far. How would you then have been in a position to use those marks, those numbers, include them in this exercise, and interpret them to also to say that they may be pattern matching or CMS when you never used CMS?
Yomthawu akazi usebenzisa i-CMS ungazi kanjani ukuthi lesi sithombe lesi sinempawu ezingabhekwa nge-CMS noma i-pattern matching ukuthi wena awukazi uyisebenzise i-CMS?
I know the theory of CMS, how it works, but I don't use it. I don't use it. I use pattern matching for interpretation.
Ngiyayazi CMS nanoma ke ngingayisebenzisi engikhetha ukusebenzisa i-pattern matching.
Thank you.
So these striations can be counted in terms of same striations which are visible here.
I'm not saying explain, sir. I'll accept you. I'm satisfied with your answer. Thank you. I'm going to put it to you, sir. Actually, before I come to that point. Now, there's one thing that I want to bring to your attention. So remember we spoke about, you said as per procedure, once an examiner examines and analyzes exhibits and come to a positive finding and they're confirmed by his colleague, that is the end of the story. There's no longer any need for a third or a fourth or a fifth reference. The reason why in this case there had to be a third umpire, a fourth umpire, and a fifth umpire. No, there were actually 4. The third, that is now Feljun, Ntini, and Fenter. The reason why there was a further reference to them, it is because this was not a clear-cut case. It was a borderline case.
We object against that proposition. We object to that proposition. It presupposes that these people were approached after Colonel Sereo has done the verification. We submit, my lord, that there's no evidence as to at which stage Colonel Mangena approached them. It can therefore not be accepted that it was after this witness verification.
So you're saying there's no foundation for that conclusion?
Indeed, my lord. It cannot be put as a fact.
Okay.
It's my assertion, because I'm going to argue on it, my lord. And I'm putting it as a fact, because this very same witness says, as far as the protocol within Forensic Science Laboratory, once an examiner examined analysis and find a positive matching, it goes to a colleague of his who is the reviewing or somebody to confirm his finding. Once that person does that, confirms his finding, that is the end of the story. There is no longer any need to refer the same experiment to a 4th or 5th or 6th. That is his evidence. So I'm putting it to him that specifically in this case, why there was a 3rd reviewer, a 4th reviewer in the name of Mr. Professor Feljun and Ntini. It's because this was not a clear-cut case, it was a borderline case. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's everything wrong with that proposition. We've provided them with the statement of the witnesses. It states the date on which they were approached for an opinion, and we know the date on which the verification was done. My learned friend can therefore not put that proposition when he's sitting with an affidavit that states when they were approached.
When they were approached?
For an opinion.
Yeah.
On the 22nd of July.
2nd of July, right?
22nd.
22nd of July.
Yes, 22nd of July 2020, and this
2020,
witness.
right?
2020. And this witness has said he did the verification on the 23rd.
So this witness did the verification on the 23rd?
Yes.
Of July. Okay.
Yes, it is the court, madam. My assertion is, it doesn't matter the sequence. Whether they were approached before this witness, whether they were approached after this witness, for the fact that there were 4 that were actually requested to go through this exhibit, when this witness has said it in no uncertain terms that 2 is enough where there's a positive match. My assertion, therefore, is this was not a clear-cut case, it was a borderline case, which is That simply meant that Mr. Mangena was saying, you know what, I'm not sure here. Let me go to the third one. He still could not assure himself that his findings were certain. Then he went to a fourth one. He went to June. He said, no, I'm not sure. He went to Feser. He said, no, I can still not say this. And then he went to Ntini.
Fine.
Yes, that is my assertion. And the reason why he did that, because this was not a clear-cut case. It was a borderline case.
Fine, I hear the assertion. You're entitled to put it.
Yes.
But Mangena's evidence is that they agreed with me.
Yes.
Yes.
In terms of the results, yes.
And they
this
agreed with me. And
yes.
then this other piece of evidence is I'm 100% certain.
My lord.
That's Mangena's evidence. Now you can argue whatever you want to argue.
Yes.
But in this court, that's what Mangena said.
I don't dispute that, my lord. Mangena said, yes, I find a positive match. I took it to Mr. Sereo. He agreed with me. And Mr. Sereo, Lieutenant Colonel Sereo says, where there's a positive match is the examiner who must pen an affidavit and the affirmer of his results, who is me. Beyond that, there should not be anything. Now, I am saying, for the fact that Mr. Mangena went on to consult other 3 people or to confirm his positive results, that is an indication that this was not a clear-cut case.
Okay, fine. No
It
problem.
was a difficult case. Yeah. Thank you, my lord. Finally, sir, let me put it to you. Then I've got no further questions to you. Thank you.
There's any re-exam?
Just picking up from this last aspect by Advocate Mnisi. Is it an acceptable practice in the forensic community to seek the opinion of your colleagues?
Indlela enijwayele ukuthi kwenziwe ngayo ukuthi ke lapha ka forensic laboratory nihambe niyofuna ke imibono yabanye abasebenza nabo.
That is correct. Analysts are allowed to consult each other.
Yebo, abahlanzi bavunyelwe ukuthi ke baxoxisane babonisane.
But you testify that there's only one verifier, is that correct?
Kodwa uthe munye kuphela obuyekezayo.
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
And you also testify that those colleagues who give an opinion, they can only do so after viewing the specimen.
Ukuthi labo ke abaletha imibono yabo bayiletha emva kokuthi babheke lokho kuhlolwayo akunjalo.
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
And you mentioned that this exchange of opinions is an informal process.
That is correct, my lord.
Athi ke lokhu kulona kubonisana kuyabonisana nje kodwa ke akubhekwa njengokusemthethweni.
And that those who furnish such opinion do not need to complete any worksheet.
Kusho ukuthi nalabo abaletha ke le mbono yabo abadingeki ukuthi bagcwalise amakhasi athize.
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
Now, during cross-examination by Advocate Mnisi, when he was cross-examining you on the procedure followed by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena in collecting the firearm from Cleveland Police Station and how he dealt with it thereafter, you wanted to refer to the exhibit of Colonel Mangena.
Isikhathi lokuzwa imibuzo mayelana nokulanda kwesibhamu landa Lieutenant Colonel Mangena ukufune ukuthi uyobuka ke umbukiso lo we-affidavit ebhalwe uMangena kunjalo.
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
And you mentioned that this affidavit was pointed to you yesterday. You were referred to this affidavit yesterday.
Ushilo ke nokuthi uholelwe kule affidavit iso.
That is correct, my
Yebo
lord.
kunjalo.
Just want to show you an exhibit that was referred to yesterday. You can indicate if this is the same affidavit that you referred to as exhibit X13B. And there's also exhibit 13C.
If
you can just check those exhibits.
13C.
Yes. But if you can start with exhibit X13C, page 4.
Because listen.
particular paragraph 6 thereof.
Asibheke-ke paragraph 6.
Exhibit 13, X13C. Paragraph 3.
I see it, my lord.
Yes.
Is it paragraph 3 or 4?
I'm sorry, paragraph 6.
6.
Yes, paragraph 6.
Okay.
On page 5.
I see it, my lord.
Yes. As which one?
I wanted to refer to paragraph 6 in my reply.
Bengifisa ukuthi ngikhulume ngoparagraph 6 emphenduleni kwami.
Paragraph 6.1 to be specific.
Ngiqonde kuparagraph 6.1.
It reads as follows. There is sufficient class characteristics but insufficient individual characteristic markings transferred to these bullets by firearm components during the firing process, which could be due to the difference in bullet material. As a result, I took a decision to obtain additional tests of the same material as the exhibit bullet.
Uthi-ke lana-ke kukhona izimpawu ezikhona ama-class characteristics ezilingene, kodwa-ke ama-individual characteristics iy'mpawu ezibonakala enhlamvini eyodwa kuphela azilingene, ngisho lezi ezidluliseke kulezi iy'nhlamvu isibhamu ngelesi sikhathi-ke sidubula. Lokhu kungaba kwenziwa ukuthi-ke ukwehluka kwensimbi eyakhe lezi iy'nhlamvu ezimbili. Ngakho-ke lokho-ke ngathatha isinqumo sokuthi ngidubule ezinye iy'nhlamvu zokuthesta ngazo, futhi-ke lezi iy'nhlamvu-ke bengifuna ukuthi zibe iy'nhlamvu ezakhwe ngayo le nsimbi eyakhwe ngayo le nsimbi efanana nale nsimbi esetshenzisiwe ukwakha le nhlamvu lena ephuma endaweni yesigameko.
Yes. So what did you want to elaborate on?
Khona yini okufuna ukuchaza ngalo?
What I wanted to elaborate on is on the basis of this. I mean, this paragraph shows the reason why Lieutenant Colonel Mangena had to go and obtain the firearm to fire additional test.
Lokho kuyachaza ukuthi indaba uLieutenant Colonel Mangena ephoqelekile ukuthi ayofuna lesi sibhamu ukuze adubule ezinye iy'nhlamvu.
So in my answer, I wanted to refer to these circumstances.
Engqondweni yami-ke bengifuna ukukhipha lesi simo.
Advocate Mnisi further put it to that regarding the firearm and the bullet that Lieutenant Colonel Mangena put under the microscope, said there's no dispute between the state and the defense. What were you able to understand what he meant by that?
Advocate Mnisi uthi akukho ukuphikisana phakathi kwemshushisi nabameli babasolwa mayelana nokufakwa-ke kwezinhlamvu ngaphansi kwe-microscope izihlolo. Umzwisisile yini ukuthi bechaza ukuthini ngalokho?
My understanding is that they agree with the positive finding.
Mina-ke bengikuzwa ngaleyo nto bengizwa ukuthi kuchaza ukuthi akukho mpikiswano nokuthi-ke kutholakale umbiko ochaza ukuthi ngempela kunokufanana phakathi kwalezi zinhlamvu.
No objection. Objection. I think they are no, it's objection. They are misleading the record. That is not what I said. I said the process.
Please, that's not procedure.
No, but I cannot keep quiet and allow the state to fit this to fit this court with wrong information through this witness. That I can't allow.
Mr. Mnisi, it is the witness saying this, not Mr. Baloyi. It's the witness. Oh, Baloyi, I don't know. Are you saying?
Yes.
No, just repeat that question,
yes.
Because it appears like Mr. Mnisi is saying you're feeding this witness with the answer.
Yes, as we have it, my lord, it was put to the witness that regarding the firearm and the bullet that Lieutenant Colonel Mangena put under the microscope, there is no dispute between the state and the defense.
Right.
And we're asking this witness, how did he understand that proposition?
Okusho ukuthi mayelana nesibhamu nenhlamvu ezibekwe ngaphansi kwe-microscope akukho kuphikisana phakathi kwabameli nomshushisi. Manje wena ukuzwisise kanjani-ke lokho?
My understanding was that they do not dispute the finding that the bullet was fired from the exhibit firearm.
Mina ke engikuzwisayo ukuthi ke akunampikisano ukuthi ke inhlamvu lezi zombili zidutshulwe isibhamu esona.
Advocate Mnisi further put it to you that you worked on test bullet number 8 and test bullet number 4, and as he put it, you found test bullet number 8 to be more convenient. You then answered that you checked all the test bullets but settled for TB for test bullet 4 and 8.
That is correct, my lord.
Ukuziweka ukuthi usebenzise inhlamvu lena unumber 8 nonumber 4 ukuthi ke uzihlole kodwa usihlole zonke lezi inhlamvu waseke wena ukhetha ke ukuthi ke zizosebenziseka ngcono lezi inhlamvu ezimbili. What yeah?
Did you check the other test bullet for any similarities with the evidence bullet except for test bullet 4 and 8?
Usihlolile yini lezi ezinye inhlamvu ngaphandle kwale number 4 noma number 8?
That is correct. I checked all of them.
Yebo ngihlole zonke inhlamvu.
Yes, and what was your finding?
Yini oyitholile lapha?
They indicated that they have sufficient marks for indicating common origin.
Usho ukuthi sikhombisile ukuthi sinempawu ezilingene esikhombisile ukuthi sidutshulwe isibhamu esona.
And Advocate Mnisi further asked you about the fact that the test bullet used by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, which referred to test bullet number 9, that it did not have indentation. Can you just put in record again, what type of bullet was test bullet number 8?
Nje utheke umekuza ummeli uthe test bullet number 9 eyasetshenziswa ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena ibingenayo le ndawo eshone phansi ukuhlobo lini lenhlamvu lo olusetshenziswa.
Test number 8 is a full metal jacket bullet.
Test number 8 kuyilolu hlobo lenhlamvu ekuthiwa i-full metal jacket.
And of what type of material is it made?
Yakho engayiluphi uhlobo lensimbi?
This kind of a bullet is the core is made out of lead.
Out of
Lead.
Okusho ukuthi ke la lenhlamvu lena ke le ngaphakathi kwayo kusho ukuthi yakho ngomthofu.
And it's got a copper jacket.
Kusho ukuthi ke la ngaphandle kwayo ke inale lensimbi kuthiwa i-copper.
It's actually a mixture of copper and other materials.
Kusho ukuthi ke ila kuhlanganiswe khona i-copper nezinye izinsimbi.
In terms of classification, is it classified as made of hard material or soft material?
Manje ke umibhekiwe ke lenhlamvu lena ithathwa ngokuthi yenziwe ngensimbi eqinile noma ithathwa ngokuthi yenziwe ngensimbi soft.
It's a harder material relative to CMJ.
Well, lensimbi le ithathwa ngokuthi iqine kakhulu uma iqhathaniswa no-CMJ.
Yes. And just finally, Advocate Mnisi asks you the following question. He also in determining whether a mark seen under a microscope is it subjective or objective?
Base babuza ukuthi ke uphawu olubona ngaphansi kwe-microscope uphawu olungabonwa yina nombani lunjengoba lunjalo noma kuyehluka ukubuka kwabantu.
And you responded that yes, identification of those marks are subjective.
Ushiyeke ukuthi ukuchaza ke okubonwayo lapha ngaphansi kuyehluka kubantu.
But you testify that the marks on specimen form objective facts, is that correct?
Kodwa ke izimpawu ezingaphansi kwale ezibonakala lapha enhlamvini zona yizona ke lezi ezibonakala ukuthi azehluki nanoma sibeke ubani.
That is correct.
Yebo kunjalo.
And you testify that what is on the surface of a specimen is encoded, the marks are there, but these marks must be decoded and that by the analyst, and that depends on the level of training, knowledge and skill.
Utheke impawu ke ezilapha enhlamvini kufanele zibhekwe ebese ziyachazwa yilo sibhekile ukuthi ubonani.
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
Is that the subjective element that you're referring to?
Uchaza manje ukuthi ukwehluka kwemibono yabantu lapho.
That is correct.
Yebo kunjalo.
Thank you, my lord. Don't have any further questions.
Yeah, just one. This just display it on the mic. I mean on the screen. It's exhibit LL3. It's written exhibit bullet 217267/A2/ test bullet different firearm. What do you understand by that image on the screen?
Yini oyitholayo ke ngale sisithombe esilapha escreen?
The two marks known to have been produced by two different tools were deliberately compared with each other.
Different tools. Which tools are those?
The firearms, my lord.
Firearms.
That is correct, my lord.
Two firearms.